In monumental sculpture, it is very important to understand the intended place for your sculpture, the ways in which a square, a street, or a space where your sculpture would go is developing. Here, I'd like to tell you about an absolutely brilliant work by Michelangelo about the Capitoline Hill, entirely designed by the great master. And it is surprising how the understanding of the space by a sculptor turned it into a brilliant solution for city planning. Let's see how many insights there are that not every architect could come up with. But a sculptor would understand this, and he sculpted the space. Michelangelo's genius is also in the fact that he put aside his own ambitions and did not put his own sculptures there. He used brilliant pieces, but not his own, and created a great sculpture out of them. Look how the ramp, built in a reverse perspective, moves the square closer to us, reduces the distance between us and the square, and by climbing up, we see that the buildings are placed the same way, in reverse perspective. That was the Senate building that is moving towards us. By pushing these buildings close together, he elevates this hill and turns it into a plinth for the statue. And the glorious statue of Marcus Aurelius is the mediator between people and the buildings, as well as being the best horse statue in the world, in my opinion. Further on, all the facades are sculpted. They are raised, they have an inner space, and thus they don't cut off the architecture, but give the space an opportunity to enter these buildings. But more than this, in order not to lose this sculpture, look how he creates the graphic element of a square in here. An elongated ellipse, not a circle that anyone could have come up with, but an ellipse. And as you walk up, in perspective, you see this ellipse as a circle. I also want to mention that the square itself is elevated, so that you understand how the miracles in space are done, how a man can feel himself a man without knowing it, how he is made comfortable. Bear in mind that this is the Renaissance period, when there was an interest in the individual. So here, the individual is not crushed, but elevated. This is how it is brilliantly done by the sculptor. The best complex in Rome, in my opinion. Altogether, this is sculpture. This spatial narrative, using various possibilities and materials, graphics, bronze, stone, all of it together. But this doesn't mean that this is the only solution. There are many options. The style can be different, and an approach can be different. It can be dictated by a specific situation.